Today's date is Sunday, December 19th. We are in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the home of my auntie, Mrs. Myrtle Pope-Alford. She has graciously agreed to share her family memories and her life story with us. So we are thankful to you, Aunt Myrtle.
Welcome.
We really appreciate the time and just your willingness to share your life with us, to keep a record for our family and your descendants and future generations. We are blessed to have you and blessed to have this opportunity to capture memories of your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also present with us today on the camera is Daric Pope and Aunt Myrtle's granddaughter, Kimberly. Is it Uncolade?
Yes.
Kimberly Uncolade. Us off camera, but she's also present. So I guess we should just get started with the first questions, and I kind of like to try to go from beginning to present if I can. It may not necessarily all be in that order, but thanks again. So let's start with your childhood. What are some of your earliest or fondest memories of where you grew up and how you grew up?
How I grew up and where I grew up was in the Evergreen subdivision down in Ringgold. That's where we started school. The first year in school was there across the street in the front of the old Evergreen Baptist Church. And from there, I'm not sure what school we went to after that. It's the Evergreen. No, I have to think a little on that one. See, where did we go to school from there? But we always, after we were big enough, we always worked. If it wasn't in the field, that's mostly where it was, so in the fields. Sure was. And when I got big enough to hold a plow, I plowed every road Dad plowed. Sure did. I could handle all the plows. And I know you weren't able to remember the old fertilizer we had to put out with the sack across our shoulders and the horns in the front of us. That was a lot of our growing up, because I've always liked to work, and I did my portion, I think. And
So you did that type of work as a young child?
I did.
And you enjoyed it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was following Dad everywhere he went. When he got to the end of the road and turned around, I was right behind him and turned around too. I had my plow and he had his. And just then after that, well, I guess we were in school then. We wasn't in the fields. We were going to school. But we had work to do when we got home from school. I'm sure it's something in between there I'm forgetting, but
what kind of work did you have to do when you got home?
The chores at home, when still had the cows to milk, hogs to feed, chickens to feed. We had to do all of that. And I did most of the milking. I was so pigeon-toed, my mom wouldn't allow me to milk the cow and bring the milk inside. She or everyone would come to the cow pen and get the milk. But I would fall, just as sure I would fall. But I'm thankful that I grew out of most of that. And what was next? Oh yeah, it was this place where we lived, where Taza, John, and Don were born at the same place. And we picked the cotton, and as soon as we got a bale of cotton, this place we lived on was named Mr. Jim King. And he would take me and Berber with him to the gin to gin the bale of cotton. After that, he would always go buy us something to eat on the way back. And he would love to buy cheese and crackers. And I just hated cheese. I would always go to the back and throw mine out the back. But I would eat the crackers. And we had time at time. He was always buying us something. And let's see, after that, where did we move to? Oh, we had so many places that we moved and had to walk so far to go to school, miles and miles. And the daddy didn't have no car, no kind of transportation. We had to walk. And
Did you walk together? The children walked to school together?
oh yeah,
Or
we did.
did your parents go with you, or was it really just
no,
the children?
No, just the children.
And was it just your family, or was it like a lot of neighborhood
It was a
children?
lot of children.
Really?
Sure was.
And you say miles?
Mm-hmm.
Miles?
Miles and miles. And in the wintertime, that didn't stop them. They would pack clothes on us, give us gloves. We would have to wear those unions that without any stockings and pull your stockings up. We were so embarrassed we didn't want to wear them to school. We'd put some socks in our pocket. And when we leave home and get out of sight, we'd pull them, we'd roll them legs up and put our socks on, hide our socks in the bushes till we hide our unions in the bushes till we come from school. And then we'd pick them up, put them on before we get back home.
Is that right? Now, I'm not familiar with what unions are. What are they and what do they look like?
It's an item that's all over.
Oh, okay.
All over from top to bottom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you would take the whole thing off?
No.
Oh, just pull it up.
Pull it
so
up.
You,
Mm-hmm.
so you can see your socks and
Yeah,
stuff.
put our socks on.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
And was it something that a lot of children wore, or just your? You said you were embarrassed.
Yeah, I didn't remember nobody wearing, just me and Bert.
Really?
Yes, but it was a long ways to walk. But when it was real cold in the wintertime, we'd be so cold when we get to school, we had to throw our hands out, but we could even write or start our lessons. It was just that cold, but we had to walk. And in the evening time, we still had to do, our chores at home when we got there. But we were blessed. We made it. We made it. And it was enjoyable, to come to think about it. Where do I go from there?
Tell me something about your parents.
They were, to me, I thought they were the best. That's one thing I never, out of all the years Mom and Dad were married, I never heard a curse word. They did not fuss. If they did any fussing, they would leave home and go do whatever they're talking or whatever they were discussing, but we never did hear. Never did hear. And Mom and Dad did not fuss or fight. That's something we didn't see. Sure did. So I can say to me they were the best. And Dad always taught music, the shape notes, and that's where we learned the most of our singing. And we knew the notes. We knew pretty well the next question he was going to ask. So he took us out of the class and made me and Verbal sit aside. He wouldn't let us there because we were answering too many questions.
State your parents' names for the record.
Dad was John Oliver Pope, and Mom was Willie Ola Crawford.
Okay. And what did she do? He said Dad taught shape note music. What did Mom do?
Mom didn't work. She didn't do no kind of work. After a certain time, it was a few years, she would take in washing and ironing sometime for people. And that was the only work she did. She didn't work in the field. She didn't do that. So, the first bill of grocery that Mama bought was after Daddy passed. She didn't know what it was to go to the grocery store. She sure didn't. Yeah, she was a homemaker, and to me, she was a good one. Yes. She would get up and she would bake some biscuits, and for us going to school, she would take them biscuits and cut them open and put some butter in them and some preserves, and wrap them up, put them back in that brown paper bag, and that's where we took our lunch to school. And that was good. That was good.
Is there anything in particular you remember about either of them that you say you thought they were the best? Anything about their character that stands out?
Well, there was nothing that we asked for that we didn't get, such as if we wanted to. Well, Dad said like this. Dad was particular about where we went and how long we were there. You could take one incident when Verb and I graduated from school. We went to the junior senior prom, and the teachers had promised us there wouldn't be any dancing, and so he agreed for us to go. And after the program got started, Professor T.R. Smith sent Leroy Rascal down to his house to get a record player. And he brought it up there, and then we had music. And we all were dancing. And lo and behold, here come Dad walking in. We had to go home. We had to go home. He did not allow that.
No dancing, huh?
No, ma'am, no dancing. No dancing. But he didn't know it, but it was a girl, not a girl, but a young lady named Lucille Davis. And she could dance. And she taught me every dance she knew, and Daddy didn't know it. I could do every dance she did. He did not know it. And I don't guess he ever did find out. Yes, but Mama, she was cool. She was cool. If we did things, she would tell, all right, I'm going to tell your daddy. But sometimes she didn't let it go that far. She would take over before you get there.
And you think they were pretty much on the same page as far as discipline and raising you all were concerned?
They sure were. They sure was. I didn't see any difference in that. Oh, Daddy would make sure we went to Sunday school, prayer meeting on Wednesday night. Even if we did have to walk, he would light his lanterns. He had about, I think it was 2 of them. I would carry one sometime, and Reg would carry one. But anyway, we were going to church. That was out of the question. You might as well get up and get ready. And I thought that was a good thing. I think it kept us out of a lot of trouble. We wanted to go, we lived down there, and we wanted to go to town, what we call on the Saturdays. We walk up there in Ringgold. He tell them we could go, but do not be going in those cafes out on the back.
Don't go where?
In those cafes.
Oh.
They had cafes there, those jukeboxes in them. And boy, they would have a time on Saturdays. We went up there, and Daddy told us not to go in there. That's what we did. We went to Ringgold, went straight in that cafe. He followed us, and we didn't know it.
You and Aunt Verba.
He come right on in there and pull us out. He just gave us a good talk, but he didn't whip us.
You think he was rather strict, but it worked in your favor.
Right, that's exactly right. Yes, ma'am.
And his belief that what is your knowledge of what his belief was about dancing? Why was dancing forbidden?
I never knew. I never knew why he thought that, but that was one thing he did not have. So I don't know why. Right now, I couldn't even think of why he would think we didn't wasn't supposed to be dancing.
Can't really say why, or if it's something he felt was in
not.
line with his biblical beliefs, or. Are there any funny stories that people tell about you from when you were growing up?
One was the nickname that they gave me. They called me Myrtle Turtle Sour Milk.
Myrtle Turtle Sour Milk? Why?
They knew I loved sour milk. Grandma Mag would punish me with sour milk.
She would
punish me with sour milk when she had sour milk.
Okay.
But she made sure I got some of it.
Oh.
Yeah. But she would do that, and let's see what else.
How do you make sour milk?
Just let it make itself. Just leave it in the churn or whatever you have it in until it clappers. You ever seen clapper milk?
No, not it. Like, it's kind of like buttermilk?
No, it turns to buttermilk when you churn it.
Okay.
But it turns into lumps.
Mm-hmm. And you liked it like that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Especially with cornbread.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Turtle. Say it again. Myrtle turtle.
Sour milk. Uncle Doyle's oldest boy, you know, Lauratius.
Uh-huh.
He had it bad. Myrtle turtle sour milk. Yes.
Tell me about some traditions that have been passed down through our family.
Not like what?
Anything that you say, for instance, that you think your parents passed down from their parents, or that you've passed on to your family that you grew up with your parents?
Be honest and truthful, and be sure to be courteous. One thing they've always told us, always say yes ma'am and no ma'am. And right now, I got one that gets on me about saying that. Yes ma'am and no ma'am. Why you say that? I said, that's the way I would talk. It's just in me and it got to come out. I don't care if it's a younger person than I am, an older person. It just happened. I just yes ma'am, no ma'am. But I think that's the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Be humble and honest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as our family legacy?
Oh, I guess you have to tell me what that one would be.
I'd say what our family is known for, or how people view our family. What has been, what type of example have we set, or what type of people we are, what our beliefs are.
One thing was togetherness. I know that.
Okay.
It's not, you know, you do this and you're supposed to do that. And whatever we did it together. And when we were doing a lot of singing, people would call for us to come to them, or they would come to us. And sometimes we'd be up till midnight at night singing. You could hear us from miles and miles away.
Really?
You could. Mm-hmm. And well, I don't know what else. There's probably so many that I can't think of.
Mm-hmm. So you would sing together at home as a family?
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah, we did. Did that. We sure did.
What other types of things, if any, other than singing, would you do together at home as a family?
That was about it, unless it's a prayer meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing we did not keep up, which we should have, but we didn't. And Berber was a lot of times the one that would bring us into that room during that prayer.
The prayer, family prayer?
Yeah. That's one thing we did not do separately at home when it comes to meals or eating. The only time we would eat separately, like if Dad had come in from work and Mama had food ready, but sometimes she let us go ahead and eat, and a lot of times we'd wait for your daddy and eat some. Never forgot to pray though. Never forgot to pray.
Tell me your siblings' names.
The oldest one is Arthur Jean.
Not your children, your brothers and sisters.
Okay. I'm starting off wrong. Okay, that's Verba. Not me. Verba was the oldest. I'm second, but Reg was next. Tansel was next. Johnny L. Danielle. Nora. No, I skipped one. Bishop. And then Nora. It was 8 of us.
Okay. And you started to mention your children. Let's get their names. Let's get their names on record too.
Yeah, the oldest one is Arthur Jean, Joanne, Eloise, Benny Ray, Deborah, LeWarn, and then Robert. And that was 7.
7 of them. Okay. And your husband?
Arthur B. Alford.
And where did you meet Mr. Arthur B. Alford?
Don't laugh. In the cotton field.
Well, you spent a lot of time there, right?
Yeah, picking cotton. Picking cotton.
And how did you begin to date Mr. Arthur B. Alford?
After that, it was mostly at church.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we wasn't going to work, we were probably getting ready to go to church to some revival or convention or something, and he was always there.
Mm-hmm.
And we dated for 6 weeks before we got married.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you got married at what age?
19.
You got married at 19 and dated for 6 weeks, huh?
Yeah.
And how did he propose?
He just asked me, would I marry him? I told him, yeah, but you have to ask Daddy. And he asked him, and Dad said, look, I won't give you permission to marry, but if you can't get along, bring her home. Don't be beating on her. And he promised him that, and he did that for 54 years. Yes, sir. He never raised his hand to hit me. Mm-hmm.
So you would say he was a good husband and a good father?
To me, he was. Yeah. To me, he was. There was some high spots and low spots, but I stayed right in there. I ain't going nowhere.
Where did you get married?
It was at a preacher's house. We didn't have a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you don't know the man's name, but he was Reverend Mitchell. And I can't think of his name now, but I know his last name was Mitchell. But we didn't have a wedding. We just went to his house.
Okay.
And took 3 persons to sign, the license.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you? It's for witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Was either one of them your parents?
No.
Okay.
One was my schoolmate, and the other 2 weren't.
Did your mom have any advice for you or any concerns about you being married at 19?
No, she didn't.
No.
Didn't say anything, and Dad wasn't home. So he was working in Mississippi at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't there.
And so when you get married at 19, do you do you still live at home or do you have your own place that
I
you
stayed
move
there
to?
for a while, and my husband soon found a house. We moved into a house,
Mm-hmm.
and he was buying piece by piece furniture. So
Mm-hmm.
we wasn't given anything for that, so he bought it all. She did.
Tell me about some jobs you've had.
Let's see, my first job was at the cleaners in Ringgold. It was a dry cleaner there, and that's my first job. And I worked with Dr. Cook. He was an eye doctor. I worked for him in the evening time if I get out of school. And when I left Ringgold, what was my job? First job I worked at a chair factory when I left Ringgold, a chair factory out in the West End. And I worked there until they had a layoff, and I was one of the ones that got laid off. Then I went to work at a restaurant. And from a restaurant on, that's about the biggest work that I've done, because I worked at that restaurant for about a week. But after I started there, Eloise was my baby. She got sick, and I had to take off to take her to the doctor. And the doctor, the man I worked for, thought I was just taking off because I didn't want to be there for the grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
And but when I took my baby to the doctor, come to find out she had pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
And he fired me because I wasn't there that day when they had the grand opening. And he needed me, but I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to work from there, work at I believe that's when I went to Captain Shreve Hotel. And I cooked there for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I left there and I went to Holiday Inn. I didn't work there long because the chef at Captain Shreve wanted me to follow him to Barksdale. And from Barksdale, I went to the NCO Club. I spent 13 and a half years there.
Doing what? Also as
Cooking.
a cook? Okay.
And after that, I had put in an application for a job at AT&T. And after a while, they called me there. Then I left and went there. And I worked there for 8.5 years. And they had that big layoff back in 1985. And I was in that bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, that's when I started working for different people. I worked for a school teacher at her house, and then Dr. Ramey, I stayed with him for 19 years. And all together, my cooking, I cooked for about 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sure did. And when I left Dr. Ramey's, that was after my husband passed. And I had a bigger car when he passed, and then I traded them and got a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon got tired of me working there, going up and down those stairs, in which it was wearing on my knees, going up and down those stairs every day. So he told me if I quit working, they kept on asking me about quitting work. I said, well, now I got a car note now, and saying if I quit working, how am I going to pay my car note? They said, well, you just quit, we'll take care of the car. So when I quit, and they paid for the car.
Mm-hmm.
They sure did. Sure did.
What type of work were you doing before?
I was working at their house doing their laundry and all that kind of stuff. But when I went there, I told her I wasn't cooking. No cooking. Well.
But the stairs was a regular part. You had to do this up and down the stairs a lot, huh?
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, it's one thing. I don't want you to ask me to do nothing you don't do. And she did. She did. Mm-hmm. But another lady that I worked for, before I went to her, she had brick floors in her house all the way through. And when me and this other lady, she had two people working for her. I worked at night, and Shirley worked in daytime. And when we cleaned her house, she would always want to get on your knees and get some things where she had to wax the floors with. I told Shirley, I said, well, now, Shirley, you can do it, but I'm not. I'm not getting on my knees scrubbing the floor. I'll quit first.
Mm-hmm.
So she decided she wanted to do it. She went on. And then she had some guys doing the work outside, and Shirley heard them talking. She says, she's going to lay off one of us. And she said, I don't know. They told her that she was going to lay one of us off. And she didn't know who hadn't decided which one was going to be. I said, well, she don't have to decide me. I said, I'll quit. Said that was her only income, what she was making down there working for them. Mm. And I was drawing my Social Security. Mm. I said, I'm going to let you have the job since you don't have any other income, and I'll quit. So that's what happened. Mm. They moved away from here after then. And every time I see Shirley, she says she's still here from me. Really? But I don't. Mm. But no, ma'am, I wasn't getting on my knees scrubbing the floor.
Right. And you said it was a brick floor at that?
Mm-hmm. All the way through with a brick floor.
Wow.
No, ma'am, I couldn't do that. I would do the washing and ironing and doing that kind of work. Mm-hmm. But mm-hmm. And I didn't do no cooking there either. Mm-hmm.
Did you cook at home as a child?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you didn't. You sound like you didn't really mind the work that you had to do at home.
No, I didn't work. I didn't mind the work. Mm-hmm. Sure didn't.
Mm-hmm. So after a while, you did get tired of cooking, huh?
Yes, ma'am. When I left the NCO club, I said it's my last job cooking. Last job.
I'm thinking about some of your elders or ancestors. Of all the ones that you've personally known, like you grew up with, Grandma Mag, Grandma Nancy, and Grandpa Charles, and so on and so forth. Is there anyone that you think lived a particularly interesting life, and if so, what was most interesting about them?
Grandma Mag and Grandma Nancy were more stricter than Grandma Mag was. She was kind, but she was mean too. Yes, when she tell you to do something, that's what she intend for you to do, and don't let it take you always to do it. My Grandma Mag wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
She sure wasn't. She mostly helped Mama keep me up in clothes when I was going to school. You used to buy those sacks of flour that had the pretty writing on them, the big 25-pound bags of flour. They were printed bags. Grandma would take them bags and she would wash them and she would make me skirts to wear to school because she knew I didn't like dresses. But she kept me up in skirts, and Mama would save eggs and go to town, sell them eggs, and buy more material for Grandma to make me some skirts. I don't know why I didn't like dresses, but I did not like no dress.
Do you now? Do you still not like dresses?
I wear them now.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't like dresses at that time, but I just did not like dresses.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandma Nancy, she had two daughters that we didn't get along too well. That's the last two.
So they would have been your
cousin?
Okay, I was going to say your aunts, right? And who were they?
Ain't T and Ain't Fair.
Ain't T and Ain't Fair.
Yeah. We were in the field one day working, and it was on April Fool's Day. And I was calling Verbal the April, but I was saying the fool, and she could hear me. I said, April Fool, April Fool. And she told Aunt Fair that I was calling her a fool. She got mad with me. She wanted to know why was I calling her that. I said, I wasn't calling that. I was calling her April Fool. Verbal said, no, she wasn't. She was calling me a fool. But she said, go bring me a switch. I will whip you. Okay. I went on out there, went out to that big peach tree. I got two long, fine switches. Brought them back, and I gave Aunt Fair one, and I kept the other. She said, what you gonna do with that switch? I said, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you. That didn't go over too well. I'm gonna tell all of them. I said, well, you supposed to tell my daddy. You ain't gonna whip me.
No, even though they were your aunts, were you guys close in age? Is that okay?
Not really in age, but what we could see. Yeah, looked like we were close.
Because some people have aunts or uncles that are kind of so close in age to them, they're almost like, they don't necessarily see the distinction between this uncle or this aunt as somebody I should necessarily respect or have authority over me because we're about the same age, But
you see, the reason I know she wasn't gonna whip me, her and Aunt T was dating, and when they would look, the road was straight down. When they see them boys coming, they'd run in the house and pull the clothes off and change sides, put them back on. Wouldn't comb their hair, and their hair was looking worse than mine. And thought she was going to whip me? No ma'am. No ma'am. So she told Dad about it, but Dad and did nothing. He didn't even talk about it.
Really?
Well, I guess they might have known how they were, but it ain't gonna work like that this time. But they would, her and Aunt T, they would, instead of changing clothes, they would put them off and turn them on the wrong side and put them back on. If anybody was living that I could ask, they would tell you the same thing.
All right. I want to go back to get some clarification on the story you told about your aunties. You mentioned one reason you knew, what was it, Aunt T or Aunt Fairy was not going to whip you.
Ain't fair.
And you mentioned something about a road and boys and changing clothes.
Yeah. The road where they was coming from was straight down in the front of Grandpa's house.
Okay.
And I guess they would come through the woods like that, but they were walking. And when they looked down the road and saw them coming.
Saw boys coming.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
They would run in the house, pull the clothes out, turn them on the other side, and put them back home.
Why? What it...
They had other clothes to change, and I don't know why they did that. But I don't know, their laziness or what. I don't know what it was, but that's what they did. Put those clothes back on.
Put them back on backwards,
Mm-hmm.
on the inside out.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's what they would do instead of changing clothes. Yes, they did.
And you this is some inside information you had on them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
And they didn't want that to get out, so they better leave you alone.
Especially when they come to whipping. Wouldn't go with me.
Oh, boy.
Now, that's something Dad hardly ever did. And
I want to backtrack a little bit just to your school, school life, life as a student. Were you involved in any activities at school?
Yeah, I did some work in the cafeteria sometime until I got involved in the music and basketball. Miss Inez Smith was a music teacher, and she was teaching me music.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to play basketball, so I left the music and went to basketball. I hate it many times I did. I didn't realize basketball was going to finally play out what music would always be. And I just missed learning how to play the piano for basketball. Yes, did. We went to Grambling one time to play a tournament. And them girls were guarding me so I couldn't dribble the ball. So I just took a shot and I just stood out there and I threw that ball up and it hit nothing but the net. That was some shot there, but I didn't have no idea that ball was going in, but I had to get rid of it.
Well, that must have felt good, though, huh?
It sure did. I think Professor Smith did, too.
So all of your siblings sing, but none of you play instrument, do you? Now that I think about it.
Nobody but Bourbon. She picked it up in the late years.
And that was piano.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did your dad play piano? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I have wondered about that a lot of times. How did he learn how to do all that? And just something God had for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because he taught music for a long time, but it was all by shake notes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So he get that blackboard and that long sticky head.
What are some of the family songs?
One was Everybody Ought to Know Something About the Lord. And another was Peace in the Valley. No, it wasn't Peace in the Valley. It was... You saying it? Forgot what it was now, but it was... We had quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Mama always led the song about Angels Rock Me to Sleep. Because I got a CD of her singing that. And you know that's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dad taught Mama to sing. She wouldn't sing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So we did. So, you know.
What, and when you sing soprano or alto?
Alto. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you feel like singing anything while we're sitting here talking, you feel free to just...
Yeah, I don't think you want to hear that.
I'm sure we would love to, but I'll leave it up to you. I understand you have a funny story to tell about your husband before he was your husband.
Yeah, Yeah, we was attended a revival at Ford Chapel one year, and I don't know who it was came in the church and told me about it, but he been there when service started, and I don't think who that was came in the church and told me about it, but I didn't move. I just sit there and wait till the church was over. He come outside. He had already been in the ditch out there in front of the church, trying to hide. And when I come out of the church, one had him by the hand, one had him in the collar, one had him by his shirt. No. That's all I said. Oh, I was thinking to go home. I asked him, was he going with me or he going to stay with them? He made him turn him loose and he come over behind me.
He was in the ditch trying to hide from you?
Them girls. Them girls. What they had him when I went out to church.
3 of them.
3 of them.
My,
Yes, ma'am. That's what happened. 3 of them had him out there.
So you just asked a question, huh?
That's all I did. Oh, boy.
You and Aunt Verba were pretty close in age. Do you have any special memories of growing up with her as your sister and your friend?
Oh, let's see, Verba was born in 27, I was born in 29. No, I used to tease her a lot because, Verba used to be pretty heavy, and I would tell her she was bigger than me and she couldn't wear my clothes. I used to tease her about that. But we were pretty close. Sure was.
Oh, you mentioned, was it Grandma Mag you said would make you skirts?
Mm-hmm.
Did you learn to sew as well? Did you make your own clothes as well?
No, Mama made.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Grandma made some of them. Mama did too.
Okay, but you didn't pick up that skill, huh?
No.
Sewing or.
I started. I went to school for sewing, maybe 2 or 3 months, and I got a job. I went to I don't know where I was. We were down on Myrtle Street when I started this new job. What was it? I forgot what it was, but I had to drop that too, and I never did take it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Sure did. But I like to sew, but
yeah.
I can't even cut out a pattern now. It's been too long.
Are there any stories of you and your family overcoming particularly trying times or any type of tragedies that?
No, nothing but when Bishop passed.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of rough there. Because I was at work at the NCO Club when they called me and told me about Bishop had passed. And when I left work, and when I got in my car and started to come home, because I was working here, we still living in Ringgold, I got in my car and started my car, instead of going forward, I was going backwards.
Mm.
That was something that, and where I was going was down a hill at the back of the NCO Club.
Mm-hmm.
It would be going down that hill. That's where I hit it. But yeah, that was about the worst, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say he had drowned it, but when they got him out of the water, they didn't get a drop of water out of it. Because they knew then he had passed from those seizures he was having.
Oh, okay. So where it was thought he had drowned initially,
That's right.
they didn't find any water in his lungs,
Mm-hmm.
so it was the seizures?
No,
Mm.
yeah. This lady that knew him, and knew she knew he wasn't supposed to be by himself. But he was determined he was going fishing.
Mm.
And so she had pulled her chair up to her back door and was sitting there watching him. And she said when she got up to go to the refrigerator to get her a drink of water, when she came back, she couldn't see nothing but his head and his fishing pole floating on top of the water.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So there was somebody there who actually didn't see exactly what happened,
Yeah,
but she
exactly.
was watching him before and
Before
then
she
saw
went.
him after. Not too okay.
Yeah.
So there was never any question about any foul play or anybody
No.
doing anything
Sure
to him.
wasn't. The doctors always said it was from his seizure.
Okay.
And you know, he would be so strong when he had them seizures. And I was scared of him, always have been since I know he was having them seizures. I was just scared of him. And I come on down to spend the night with Mama that night. And it was cold. She said, go in the room back there and get you one of your daddy's old shirts and put on your arm and sleep in. I said, it's all right, I don't need it. It was dark and I was going back there in that room. I said, no ma'am, I'm all right. I got in the bed right behind her and that's where I slept.
What from?
I wasn't going back there in that room. Sometimes he knew I was scared of him. A lot of times he would grab a hold to you and be like he's having a seizure. Boy, I would just have a pit.
Did he have any type of head injury or anything that caused the seizures? Anybody
We
knew?
don't. He had one right after he was born.
A head injury?
Grandma Nancy and Daddy rushed him to the doctor. And that's what the doctor said. It was seizures he had. He was a little baby.
Okay. That's when it started, when he was a baby. Okay.
Yeah, right after he was born.
Wow.
Mama didn't get a chance to even go to the doctor, but I guess Grandma and Daddy took him.
Really?
And when he was in the hospital, he had a real hard one. They had to keep him strapped to the bed. And they put some kind of straps on him. He busted right through him. He just cringed that bed. And then they took that off and they put some leather ones on him. And he busted them too.
Oh my goodness.
He sure did.
Did he have any medication to try to control them?
Something other that the bishop was taking some kind of medicine. Now what it was, I don't know. Sure don't. But they gave him something else. But it's been too long now. I can't remember what it was he was taking. That's the only picture that I know of him now. He was holding my needle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have that picture too.
You do have? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I may intend to have that one enlarged and just hadn't done it.
Tell me about one of the most important people in your life.
I think that was. You mean now or has been?
Has been.
Tansy.
Tansel?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
It was just something about him. I don't know. He was just. He didn't talk about nobody. And he was just gentle and kind as he could be. He would come down here a lot of times, stay 2 or 3 days, go back. But he never left without giving me $100 bill. It wasn't the money, it was just him. And he was just, I don't know what he was, but he was close. So I thought I was close to Ridge, but I thought about it backwards, you know, but that's the one.
What are some of the most important lessons you've learned in life?
Oh, let's see, what would that be? I guess, tend to your own business and leave other folks alone. Because I guess it's because I ain't never been a big talker. I never have been. Because they were trying to get me to teach a Sunday school class one time. I turned it down. I don't know nothing about teaching no class. But, you know, I guess I could have learned if I'd went on, but I didn't. I don't know, like, might be the thing that I wish I could have tried, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Anything in particular?
Especially the music.
Yeah.
Especially music.
Learning to play piano?
Mm-hmm. Many times I see people playing on at churches,
Yep.
on TV. I said, "Darn, I wish I had learned how to do that."
Mm-hmm.
You ever watch Jimmy Swagger show?
Mm-hmm.
That man, know he can play that piano. I just admire it.
Yeah. We had talked about your jobs previously, and I know this may not necessarily be a job, but you sold Avon for quite a few years too, didn't you?
I sure did. For about 17 years.
17
I
years.
sure did. But I had to leave that alone. A lot of people would order it. Sometimes they order big orders, and then when it comes, they didn't get it.
Mm,
And I had fake orders, I sent it back.
really?
And I had collected so much. So I just give it up.
Mm.
Like you talking about one lady when she was down here, she was at LSU hospital or somebody, I don't know who was in the hospital, but that's who she was down here visiting. And somebody gave her my address and they brought her over here. And I gave her a great big bag of that stuff to take back with her.
Mm-hmm.
You not have word from us now. She don't have. Yeah, I left that stuff alone. I was working for them, not for myself.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I did.
You did?
I really did. But when it comes to, I had to pay for it or send it back.
Yes.
It costs a lot to have to send it back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just started giving it away.
Mm.
Yeah, I did.
You had mentioned you couldn't recall the names of the schools that you attended previously when we were talking about schools. I know Ringgold Colored High School was that one of the
Yeah,
when you graduated
Yes,
from?
that's where I graduated from. And we went to St. Mary too.
St. Mary's.
Mhm.
Okay, before then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can remember was St. Luke. St. Luke, they call them all Rosenwald schools. I didn't know why they called them that, but that's what they call all those schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Ringgold Colored High was the last one I went to. That's where I graduated from. And graduated in 1940 is when I graduated.
1940, and you were married a year after.
49. Yes.
Was there any particular profession you wanted to be when you were younger?
That was one thing I never focused on, what I wanted to be. Because after I finished high school, Mom and Dad tried their best to get me to go to college. No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to. They wanted me to do grammar. I just didn't want to go. I really didn't focus on nothing special. After that is when I got married. So it took all that away.
And you always look like you always worked someplace or another.
Oh, yeah, that ever since I've been big enough, I've been working here and down. But it was a long time after I got married when we were picking cotton. I could get my 200 every day.
Really?
Bill would pick cotton so hard, he tried to get his 200, he never did.
That was the goal. Was you had a certain amount you were supposed to get?
No, it wasn't no certain amount. That's just what I wanted to do.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you would do it every time?
Every time. I got my 200 pounds. Yes,
200 pounds, my goodness.
He never could do that.
You're just a good little worker bee, huh?
All my life. It's, I don't know what that was when Color Purple was for Oprah.
Oh.
All my life.
I had to find that. That was it, the Color Purple.
Yes, sir. I always was.
So you say you didn't necessarily want to go to college. Were there any particular subjects in school that you liked?
English and geography was my special.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why I didn't want to go to college, but I just did.
Mm-hmm.
I was had enough of school when I graduated.
But you didn't mind working. That's obvious.
I sure did. I did that. I always wanted a heavy coat. And I guess it just wasn't able to buy me one. And when I started working at Ringgold at that cleaner, that first paycheck I made, I bought me a coat, and that was my first heavy overcoat.
Really?
I never forget it was a red corduroy coat.
Oh my
Boy, I
goodness.
love that coat.
I bet that was beautiful and very proud accomplishment for you, huh?
It sure was. And when I worked for Dr. Cook, I'd get up there early in the morning time, and Miss Cook had a cow that she me up there. That special morning when I got there, it was kind of early, and she had told me what she wanted me to do before she left to go milk the cow. And she told me it was a rug she had laying down across in front of the fireplace. She told me when you run the vacuum, take that rug outside and dust it real good and bring it back in. Well, see, she had put some money up under it, and she thought I was going to steal that money. So I took the rug outside and dusted it real good. I took the money, laid it up on the mountain until I got through, and then I put the rug back down there and I put the money back under there. And when she come back in, she looked, and she argued me down that I did not take that rug outside and dust it. And I told her I did. But she didn't believe me because I had put the money back under there.
Right.
And a couple of weeks after that, they were planning to go to a trip up in Virginia somewhere. They was all packed up, getting ready to go, and they was going to leave that next day. I didn't go to work that next day. I quit.
Good for you.
Yeah, I quit. If she think I'm going to steal,
Yeah.
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 I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
She did.
And you said this was the doctor's?
Dr. Cook.
His wife? Wow.
Yeah, she was so sure I didn't steal the money, but she told me I didn't do the work she told me to do.
Yes.
But I said, this ain't the place for me, so I quit.
Yeah. Now, seeing that segregation was still in effect when you were growing up, do you have any stories or any experience with being treated a certain way because of the conditions at that time? Segregated?
I didn't remember no more than we were working in the field one time, and Daddy was the overseer. He went from the cotton patch to the potato field to sharpen our hoes, and he had sharpened our hoes before he went over to the potato patch. And this little white boy walked up to me. He said, "Do you believe I cut your neck off?" I told him, "No, I don't believe." So he drawed his hook back, and I saw he was fixing to hit me with it. So I threw my hand up, and he cut my finger right there. That thumb just flopped down like that. Right now, all I can do is straighten it out. I can't bend it unless I push it.
Oh my goodness.
And that was about the only time, but I don't know what his daddy did, but Daddy said he took him up there at that barn, by the cotton gin, and stripped him and got some plot lines and put them with him. Now, I didn't see that. That was what he was told. But as far as I can see, that was about the only thing that I can remember. But Daddy was so mad. He was so mad. Yeah, I took him up to that clinic in Ringgold, and that doctor sewed it back from his back, but he couldn't do nothing about that nerve.
How old were you then?
I guess I must have been about 12, 13. No, I wasn't quite that old then, because that's when I joined church when Nora at 13, when Nora was born. So I was there before then.
And this was at the gym where your dad worked?
Yeah.
Do you remember the young man's name? Or did you know him at all?
Delbert Pete. So,
and you say you heard that it was his dad who disciplined him?
Yeah, Dad said that's what happened to him.
Wow.
But right after then, that's when we moved from down there and moved out to the old pawn place across the street in front of Grandma Mag's house.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I can remember, that's about the only thing. But after that, Mr. Ernest still paid me to bring water to the field to the people that was chopping cotton.
Who went into it?
And at that time, you know, I had taken out what we call a water bucket. You had one dipper in there. Everybody don't got that same dipper.
Mm.
So, did.
Mm.
Yeah, he still paid me the same thing he was paying me to chop the cotton when we were chopping cotton.
Mm-hmm.
No, we wasn't. Yeah, we were, but Daddy just sharpened our holes before we went over to the potato patch. Yeah, he had a job at old man Otis School. He was mad with Daddy because Mr. Ernest gave him the job of overseer, and he wanted it, and Mr. Ernest didn't give it to him. Mm-hmm.
Oh. You had mentioned your dad didn't allow you all to dance. Did he allow you to date?
Yeah, that he did, but most times they had to come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was nighttime, if we be sitting on the porch, he gonna light a lamp, bring it out there and set it down.
Mm-hmm.
We laughed about that many times. Yes, he gonna light a lamp, bring it out there and set it down.
So that's pretty much what dating consisted of back in your time. It was just somebody coming by the house to visit you.
Why not?
But then no going out or no dates and nothing like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you, was Uncle Bill your first boyfriend, so to speak?
No, not really.
Not really. You had a few visitors before him, because you was just so pretty. I know you still are, so I know you was just a bombshell back then.
I don't know about that. But no, it was we was in Ringgold one Saturday, and both of them was there, and Bill was there too, and so we would always walk home, and he saw me leaving. It was, I don't know who it was. It wasn't her, but she was too small, but must have been one of the rubber boys was with me, and we were walking home. And he saw us when we left. And that was the one Reggie always told me I had the bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And we left walking, going to the house, and he caught up with her. And I don't really tell you the truth, I don't know what he asked me, but I said, look, both of y'all leave. So that was on the bicycle, he turned around with back, and then Bill would follow me on to the house. Yes, I know, both of you leave. Yes, sir.
So he wasn't the only one who had more than one after him at the same time.
There you go.
I think I've heard a story of you losing a house or a house burning down in, was it in Ringgold, Heflin?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
Everything in Ringgold. We was I was at work one day. It was back in 71, 1971. Oh, I was at work, and I got a telephone call, and somebody at the hotel, at the club or whatever, said that I had a telephone call, and it was on April Fool Day, and they thought there was somebody calling trying to, get me, call me April Fool, and they said my house was burning down. You don't pay no attention. So they called back several times, wanted to speak to me, and they finally told me that my house had burned down. And I couldn't drive. What I drove is first from the club over there to the school, go across the street there from where I was working. And I never forget my brother-in-law drove me on to Ringgold. And when we got there, the people down the street there pulled them the lawnmower from under the house, and that was the only thing that was saved. That lawnmower. That was down there where the house got burned down. And but they had lost everything we had. And that another one we had on our back. And Bill was working up in part of Texas. And I don't know who it was called him and told him. But it wasn't no time for he had drove him out there and pulling up in the yard. And he said when he got there and saw wasn't nobody hurt and everybody was okay, he went with. He said, as long as nobody ain't hurt, I'm okay. He sure did. So he left and went on down to his mama's house.
And did you have a family at that time? You had children?
Robert was my baby.
Oh, okay, okay. Your whole family?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you lose all of your possessions in a house fire with a family of 7 children. How do you rebuild from that?
We went in the house with Bill's mom and dad. And people just started pouring clothes in. We had more clothes than the next day that we had in the beginning. And after that, he was working in Oklahoma, I believe it was. And I was still at the club. And we came over here and started looking for a house right after that. And that was in May when we came over here. And so we looked around for a couple of days and we didn't see nothing that we wanted. And so, but I was just ready to get out of where I was. And so we came in this area and they were building this house. And they didn't like too much being through with it. So we went ahead and bought this one and waited until they finished with it. And then we moved in. But that was about 2 months after the house got burned down there. And this is where we've been ever since then. We moved in the it was 22nd of May. May. Sure did, and this is where we've been ever since. And it was a 30-year plan, and we finished paying for this house 2 months before Bill passed. Sure did.
Wow.
Because he had been going in and out of the hospital so much, and I was getting those Dr. Bill's money every time I go to the mailbox. And I told him, I said, you know, money every time I go to the mailbox, it's a Dr. Bill. I said, well, what you worried about? He said, you got your car paid for and you got your house paid for. He said, you now. He didn't say we. And I'm just wondering, he had some kind of thought that he wasn't going to be around that long. That's what he said. You got your car paid for. You got your house paid for. And that's when he come out with that. Now what you worried about?
It sounded like he was a very practical man.
Yes.
Not too much worried about anything.
Yeah, then.
It's like you say, when he come up to the house that had burned down, once he saw everybody was okay, he was
That's
like,
it.
okay.
He said he was okay.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was the one who brought me home. Well, I never would have made it if I had to drive.
Yeah. That was one of his brothers?
No, he married Bill's sister.
Okay. Okay. And so you say in between the time that house, you lost that house and you bought this one, you lived where?
Here. We were living down in Ringgold.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's mother lived down there.
Okay.
His parents. Yeah. So we moved in with them until we got this house.
And you said you were ready to leave that area anyway.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular about that area that you didn't like anymore? Or?
No. I was just ready to get out on the conditions that we was having to go through while we were there.
Okay.
And this lady tied up a whole great big old sheet full of clothes and sent down there to us. And when we opened that thing up, he just took it on out on the back and set it afire. The things in there were dirty. I think she was just cleaning out her house when she sent them. And set it afire.
Oh boy.
Sure did.
So would you say he was very even-tempered?
And not at times. No. Don't make him mad. Oh boy. He could use some of his Sunday school words.
Tell me what role religion or spirituality has played in your life.
Oh,
What has it meant to you?
I guess you mean like the what I'm trying to say. What I mean, what you want me from a Baptist or what? Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to be a Baptist rather than, what I've seen some people go through that were not a Baptist. I don't know what religion would mean to. I don't know what it would mean, what another denomination would mean if I had to change. I wouldn't know how or what to do to change because I've been the Baptist all my life.
And what has being a Baptist meant to you, or how has that dictated your life? Or
Well, it has really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I guess I would not have. Because Baptist, don't know. I remember when I was going to the motor's bench, to get a religion. Well, that has meant a lot to me because I still have memories of my baptism and the night I joined church. And from that, I wouldn't want to change anything.
And what church was that?
Mount Zion.
That was a family church at the time?
Yeah. Yeah, but Mama didn't get a chance to attend because she was pregnant with Noah. And the night I joined church, she went there because she couldn't go. It was too near her time. And so I've always loved being a Baptist.
You think it has helped you through the difficulties that you've had in life, your religious beliefs?
I believe so. I really do. Really believe so. Because we had so much training and teaching and going on. Because they really taught us of being in situations in the church like the BTU and, well, in the Sunday school we were definitely going to be there. And never would forget we was at the BTU program they had, and one thing Daddy did not allow you laughing and talking in church. That's one thing he did not allow. And I think he had a picture up there in this hall with this lady's name on, Miss Lisa Tripp. And she had a son named Nathaniel. And we was at BTU meeting one Sunday evening. And she was down praying, Miss Lisa was. And she made, of course, this is leading away from what you asked me. He asked her, Miss Lisa was praying. And she was praying for the BTU. And she made a mistake and said BUT. And Lord looked up and Dad was over there just killing himself laughing.
Really?
After he done told us about. Yes, but we attended all the extras,
So what does BTU mean? Is that Bible
Baptist?
training? Oh.
Baptist Union Baptist Young Training or something something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were always involved in something. It sure was. And where they carry on in the other churches, what they differ from the Baptists, you know, I would really have an understanding about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I've been all my life.
Mm-hmm. And it's worked well for you.
Yes, you have. Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Going back to where you have worked so many jobs over the course of your life, do you remember your wages for any of them?
That I don't. The only one I can recall is the one where I was at the NCO club.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my wages then was $7 $7.45 or $7.35, something like that an hour.
Mm-hmm. And when you were like picking cotton,
Maybe they'd give you 50 cents a hundred.
50 cents per 100 pounds.
It wasn't nothing much. But I guess I was breaking my back trying to make.
Trying to make $1.
Yeah, and they would pay you at the end of the day, you know, whatever pounds they would write down the pounds every time we go to the scales and weigh. They would write down how many pounds we had in our bag, and at the end of the day, they would pay us.
And when you were working as a child, was that just with your dad, or was that also for other people?
Yeah, that was for Dad. You know, he was sharecropper.
Okay.
So, and we never really know what we made because it all went to him anyway.
Yeah. That was to help support the family.
Yeah.
And you all had your share of doing. You didn't feel like you did more than another sibling, or you had more responsibility than anybody else.
Well, they always the same when it comes to something like that. So whatever we made, he always got it. You know, we never didn't know really what we were being paid. Because at the end of the season, when the crops was all gathered in, if Dad owed anything, well, you know, Mr. Ernst would always take care of it for him. At that time, you know, you couldn't just go to the store and go in there and, like you pick what you want now and then go pay for it, but you had to go in there with your list and give it to them and let them fill the list.
Okay.
You couldn't go in there and do your own shopping.
Really? And that was that because it was a white-owned store? Or?
It could have been because that's what it was, white-owned store. That's all.
So you as a black family had to take your grocery list to the merchant.
You're right.
And they would go.
Let them fill it. Sure.
What are you most grateful for?
I guess being black, that's more. I'm grateful for that because there's other races. I guess they really think they're too much or something. And we all cut from the same cloth. Some of them just sold them wrong.
Yes, ma'am. What do you think is special or unique about being black? Or what makes you grateful to be black?
Now, since we've come so far, I just really be black, I tell you the truth, I really would. Because there's a lot of things that we didn't have when we were coming on up. Trying to do what's right. Know you were right, but they're gonna say you're wrong. I don't care what. So, just glad to be.
Can you tell me, going from your children, from the oldest to the youngest, one particular thing about them that's special or funny or unique? Starting with your oldest and going down to your youngest, one thing that stands out about either their character or something about them or something they've done.
Aunt Jean. Well, what can I say about him? He was it started out, he used to be, he was on drugs for a while. But he finally got over that. I think he did, which I know he did, because at one time, he was so bad on it that down there in Ringgold, they found him several times laying out in the ditch somewhere where he done got too high to even know where he was. And Joe, she always been Joe, and what she said is what she meant. And Eloise was always soft, and she didn't raise no sand. She was, everywhere she went, like going to church except going to work, her children were with her. She did not leave her kids with nobody. Just because, you know. And let's see, who were next? Benny. Yeah, he's always been a upbeat. He always, you know, did think he was a little more, not no more than nobody else, but he thought he could do more than anybody else. And he always was just like his uncle, Uncle K. Rollins, full of jokes. And let's see, who were next? What's been Deborah? Yeah, Deborah would always. She was always with the tough one. Now, what she says is that's just it. It don't differ from it because she ain't gonna change. Deborah's gonna be Deborah, I don't care what. And one, never have had a problem. And that one in there, they always say he was spoiled to death. Every time we tell him he's spoiled, y'all did it. So really, they've been a pretty good bunch overall. They sure have.
Okay. And just for the record, the one in there she's talking about is Robert.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
What would you say is a good characteristic for Arthur Jean?
Well, if he's working, he would pay his bills. If he borrowed money from me, he would pay that back. Really, after he got off of the drugs for these long, he was a pretty good guy. Sure was, because he was the one who helped him pay for my car. He was working at Shiver.
Sure.
Where he was working at Shiverland there. Shiverland Motors, whatever that place was. That's where he was working. But he did. He helped him pay for my car like he said he would.
Okay. Now, seeing that this is a recording that is likely to be viewed by future generations, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, great-great, and so on and so forth, is there anything in particular that we haven't talked about that you would like to get on record or to say to them?
What to say to them? Don't want any, arguments about nothing that I have left you. If it's something that can be divided, do that. But if not, do what is best for the rest. And I think it would be all right if you do that. Just share whatever be left. This may not be much, but it will count.
Is there anything about you or your life that we haven't discussed that you'd like to get on record?
Nothing but all the surgeries that I've survived. And the main one was heart surgery I did. Because I had full complete stop to advance. So they did the 5 bypass on me. And I survived that. Because it was so bad that I just didn't know whether I was or not, but I did. Man, I think they all know that, though.
How old were you at that time?
I really don't know the exact age, but I was, but they all was old enough to remember because they all was there. I don't know what year that was. It's all written down back there somewhere, but I don't know what year it was.
So, but you say you had 5
Mhm.
blocked arteries, so you got I don't know what number. 4 would be quadruple. I don't know what number 5 would be, but
How many valves is it? You know.
they were all blocked though.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he put me on the stress test machine.
Uh-huh.
All they could do was turn it on. When they turned it on one time, he said, turn it off.
Really?
And they rushed me right on into surgery.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
What type of symptoms were you having that you knew there was a problem?
Just tired.
Mm.
Just tired. Of course, he kept asking me, was I in pain or did I had any pain? But I didn't have any. But I couldn't walk from here to the mailbox and back. I would just give out.
Uh-huh.
And I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And they took me on to the doctor, is what he told me.
Mm.
I come home long enough to, did I get any clothes? They brought me some with that. I believe Joanne and brought some. It was because I went straight into surgery after that.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, I was crying and going on when they pushed me out of there. I said, don't cry, I'll be back. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I woke up, they all were right there.
Mm-hmm. So that was the big one, huh?
Yeah.
And you said you had other surgeries as well?
Yeah, I've had PE, what they call it, pulmonary something, but it was in my lungs.
Mm.
I was driving home one day, but they all knew about that one too. And before I got home from right around the corner there, I just went out and I was driving. I was so thankful that I wasn't out on the highway, or I probably would have got killed.
Yes, yes.
But I just went out. The beautician said when I left, she saw that I was driving kind of funny, but you know, she noticed that I don't be driving that way. And she stood right there until I got right at the corner where I got ready to turn to come this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I went out.
Really?
And just how it happened, I put it in park.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And how I did that, I don't know.
Because you didn't recognize there was anything going on with you.
Not a thing. When I knew anything, I was just out.
Wow. In park.
Mm-hmm.
But look at God.
I did that. I don't know.
Man.
Sure did that. I had put it in park.
Mm-hmm.
So the man who brought my car onto the house, he says, first thing he looked to see was my foot on the brakes or was it in park, but it was in park.
Wow. You're a tough little lady, huh?
Oh boy.
Well, my final question, unless you have something else you'd like to add, is, and do you? If you do, feel free to talk about whatever you like.
Can't think about any right now. Sure can't.
You know, well, how would you like to be remembered?
I'm going to say just the way I am, I guess. Try to get along with everybody. Try to be truthful. Mm-hmm. And it's old tough Myrtle, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Secret, silently tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tough as sweet as pie.
I don't know about that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, try not to mistreat nobody. Pray for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't leave nobody out. Good or bad. I just pray for my friends and my enemies. Just ask God, don't let them do me no harm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, we thank you once again so very much for
Yes, ma'am.
agreeing to this. I know, like you said, you're not a talker. You're not much of a talker, but you did just fine. You did just fine.
And glad to get that over with.
All right, you heard it. She's glad to get it over with, so we're signing out. Thank you, Aunt Myrtle. God bless you. We love you.
And bless you all.
All right.
Amen.